Back in 2004, I had a Dell Axum, also known as a Pocket PC. There's one problem though, it wasn't really a PC. Here we are though in 2017, and I may finally have my dream with the GPD Pocket. It runs Windows 10, and I'm going to tell you whether it's worth the $500. Stay tuned. So here we are, the GPD Pocket. This is a crowd-funded project that was done on Indiegogo. That means I paid about $3.99 for it because I was one of the initial supporters. However, the price tag goes about $4.99 or even higher due to the import tax you'll pay. Overall, the build quality is really good. In fact, everything about this device is better than it should be, I think. I'm just not used to this sort of quality for what is a crowd-funded project. First of all, you have a CNC machined aluminum exterior. It's very solid, no creaks, no problems whatsoever. It looks like a mini MacBook. Now, if you come around to the side here, you'll see you have a little exhaust port because yes, this has a tiny fan in it. It is running an Intel Atom processor, which is a bit of a shame. However, I think asking them to put in a Core i3 or Core i5 would be a little bit ridiculous. Still, the Atom processor is what we get. Coming over here, you have a USB Type-C port. Now, I should mention, of course, that is not Thunderbolt 3. It can, however, handle some display output, power, and data. In fact, that is how you charge it. You also have an HDMI out, which is kind of nice if you want to run an external display, 3.5mm headphone jack, and a USB Type-A 3.0 port, so you can use that as well for data and any kind of extra peripheral like a mouse. Coming around to the back, not much going on here. Very clean design. You just have this really nicely done hinge. And over here, nothing as well. Overall, it's a very clean device. You'll see there's just no logos anywhere. Coming around to the bottom, you do have the GPD logo, which is pretty small, along with some FCC information. You have some little feet here and a couple screws where you can take off the back cover here if you want to, I suppose, replace anything, although there's not much to replace on this device. You also have the intake vent here for the fan. Opening up the GPD Pocket, you have the real star of the show here. You have a 7-inch 1900 by 1200 touch display. This is one of the best displays I've ever seen in a device, at least this size. Of course, I haven't seen many devices this size at all, but it is just a very nice display. The color contrast is excellent on here. It's a IPS display with a 323 pixel per inch density. That is super high. That's like what they would call MacBook Retina level. And it's just an awesome display, making this device, I think, really ideal for consuming media if you like to watch movies, Netflix, stream TV on Sling, or even play video games. It actually is one of the best displays. I'm actually shocked about how good it is. It's just not something you would expect in a device this small. Turning to the keyboard, this is where things get a little tough. Now, it's actually a really good keyboard in the sense that the travel is really high in this for what are tiny keys. You also have keys dedicated for function, including volume and screen brightness, which is nice. You have the power button up here, and you also have this little nub here for controlling the mouse cursor, as opposed to a full-on trackpad. They obviously did that to save space. I'm actually not a fan of these types of controls, but I tell you what, it actually works very well on this device, and I kind of like it a lot. Now, the problem here, of course, is they're jamming a full keyboard into a really tiny device. You would not want to use this to write a paper on, make no mistake. It's a real struggle, I think, to type on here. Sure, it's really nice if you want to go to the web and browse to a website to type in the address, but anything more than a few short messages, it's going to be tough. Still, they did the best they can. It's actually a good keyboard for what it is. It is not backlit, of course, which is what you would expect in a device this small. All right, let's talk a little bit about specifications here. So I already mentioned the Intel Atom processor. It's not one of my favorites, but it actually handles Windows 10 Home, which is preloaded on this pretty well. Now, if you're running store apps, it's not a problem. Same thing with some store games. You don't want to do anything massive with this, but it actually doesn't run that badly. And that's helped in part by 8 gigs of RAM, which is not something you would also expect in a device this small. You would have thought maybe 4 gigs, but no, it's got full 8 gigs on here, making this possibly a full-on computer if you run an external display to it, connect a keyboard and a mouse. I don't think many people are going to do that, but in theory, you actually could. For storage, you talk about 128 gigabytes. It's eMMC, so it's not an SSD, obviously, but it's an okay storage solution. You know, it gets the job done as well. Overall, though, these specs are pretty impressive for what is a device that actually does fit in your pocket. Now, it also has, of course, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, which is super necessary, but it does not have any cellular connectivity. You can, of course, connect your smartphone up to it. So if you're in a coffee shop, you think about it, it's a pretty neat device to have in a pinch. Now, I should also mention that touchscreen, you can't use a pen with it, which would have been a really cool thing to have, but it is unfortunately just a touchscreen but no pen support. All right, so what do I think of the GPD Pocket? Well, it's actually a really fantastic device. Everything about it exceeded my expectations. The display is really nice. The build quality is fantastic. And the keyboard, well, okay, it's not that great, but I think they did the best they could with it. Even audio is very nice on this device. Battery life is about between 5 and 6 hours, which isn't crazy, but then again, you won't be doing a ton of work on this. Now the next question, is it worth $500? Well, that's a real tough one. Obviously, if you're choosing between a laptop and this thing, get the laptop. This is a very niche device. I think if you're a hobbyist and you just have some extra money, you can definitely pick this up. You'll have a lot of fun with it. Whether you're playing video games or you want to watch a movie on the airplane or you're just in a coffee shop, you can do a lot of cool stuff with this. Don't forget, you can turn this into a full PC with an external display, keyboard, and mouse. I don't think a lot of people will do that, but it can be done. It's a really impressive technology. I think GPD is a fun company to watch. They're not afraid to push boundaries. And while this is a niche device, it's exceptionally well done. So there's a quick look at the GPD Pocket. Now if you want my full review, make sure you head to Windows Central where I have benchmarks, photos, and more information, including where to buy it. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Take care, everybody.